Kia ora. Today I'm just going to give a short reflection, and for the service on Sunday, Elva Feldmeyer, who is the co-director of 350 Aotearoa, a group that's committed to climate action and both education and activism to protect our planet and to make life more sustainable for us all. But firstly from me, parables. The meaning of a parable is not always to be found in the author's mind or intention. For the great parables, the ones that speak across time, across culture, and knock on the door of our hearts, have many shades of meaning and many applications. It's somewhat like a great painting. Once finished, it leaves the artist, and it can take on a life of its own. I want to speak briefly about two parables. The first one is Sardis, the tiger and the fox. If you Google Anthony DeMello, the tiger and the fox, you'll find it. One could read it as an analogy about givers, like the tiger, and takers, like the fox, and the man who emulated the fox. And the punchline of the parable is, stop emulating the ways of the fox and emulate the ways of the tiger. And then a moral could be drawn from it saying that giving is good, taking is bad, though sometimes necessary, and the world needs more of the former and less of the latter. So let's all be givers like the tiger. But life is not neatly divided like this. At times we are givers, at times takers, at times, oftentimes, both. And frequently the choice is not ours, but due to circumstance. So, for example, the one who is very sick, dependent on others for food, care, etc., can also sometimes be a generous giver, a source of insight and wisdom and blessing to those around them. Another way to read the tiger and the fox is like this. The man who seeks to emulate the fox is concerned only about himself. He is the center of his world, the only world he can see. Whereas the tiger is not captured by that type of individualism, what the Bible calls selfishness. The tiger sees the other, a world beyond her own world. She sees the other even when the other is of a different species and a competitor for the same food sources. In seeing the other, the tiger's world expands. So the man, in his self-centeredness, is disconnected, alone, and his actions will lead to starvation in the parable. Whereas the tiger, in her other-centeredness, is connected together, and her actions will lead to sharing and survival. The Gospel today from Luke ends with a moral, a maxim. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. If your treasure is yourself and yourself alone, then your spiritual heart will suffer, shrivel. If, however, your treasure is in being with others, in all their pain and promise, then your spiritual heart will grow strong. The second parable I want you to consider is the well-known Prodigal Son. And in particular, there is an overlooked fourth character in the story, namely the farm, the ground, the tūrangawaiwai, the place on which we stand, our home, namely planet Earth. In other words, I'm inviting you to read this well-known parable with ecological eyes. The father, the householder in the story, is the one who cares for the earth as she cares for him. The health of the farm and all its dependents, including his two sons, is integral to his health and well-being. The younger son does not realize how integral the earth and all who care for it are to his well-being. He wants to turn his responsibilities and privileges into cold, hard cash. He wears a drill baby drill cap. He thinks cash will bring him happiness. He thinks, well, he wants to take and not to give. He is the center of his cashed up world, the only world that matters. The older son is jealous of the younger. The older does not delight in the earth and cherish it. For him it is a burden. Responsibility is a burden. And he labels his younger brother as irresponsible, exploitative, and selfish. And he's not wrong. But such labeling is not the language of love. It is the language of envy, which becomes apparent when the prodigal returns, and the older can only find the language of blame to greet him. The father lives for reconciliation, which he knows is the bedrock of well-being. Reconciliation between the two sons, but also reconciliation with the earth. The future of the sons and the father is interwoven with the future of the earth. The father's treasure was the interdependent community of humans and the earth. And this treasure then guides his heart. The younger son, as we know, squanders his share of the property. The farm, the earth, is irreparably weakened. It will be a struggle now to care for its dependents, including the younger son when he returns. Everyone's work will be harder. The father has allowed the younger to go and squander, and then welcomes the squanderer back. The father knows the elder son's heart, and outside the welcoming feast he meets the elder son, listens to his pain, his longing, and welcomes him back too. Yet, is this enough? Will the sons now see that their well-being is interwoven with the well-being of the earth's dependents and with earth herself? Will they now see that reconciliation with earth is necessary for the happiness and well-being of their own hearts? Will relationship, being with, be their treasure? Or will cash for myself in time come again to destroy and then determine the outcome? This parable doesn't have a conclusion. There's a big question left hanging. It doesn't have a saying where your treasure is, there your heart will be also, or a go do likewise. We are simply left with a question of whether suffering, welcoming and listening love, what the Father offers to the sons, is enough to facilitate the reconciliation for all those relationships, family, community and earth. And it remains a big question.